loop and awkwardly hangs there. She later shared her story how she had to physically put a hole in this belt with a nail and a hammer. Crazy, we know. When we were thinking of what to possibly do, we said, we're gonna put this hammer down and we're gonna make Sleekfit our perfect fit. Sleekfit is a belt that completely eliminates overhang by embedding magnets within our leather belt. We also make our belt adjustable to all sizes by having no holes within our belt, completely customizable to our customer. Meet our team. I'm Olivia Backey, CEO.
Danica Gubick, Head of Marketing.
Saranda Shepard, CFO.
Sophia Medrano, Head of Advertising. We conducted 100 surveys starting at 2 locations. We first started in the downtown area, targeting an older age group. Next, we went to the Pearl and targeted a younger demographic of people, concluding that both men and women, 75% struggle with this problem, and 85% are unaware of the solution.
At Sleekfit, our customers are men 20 to 65 and women 20 to 45. Our age range for men is much larger than for women because we have researched and concluded that women are less oftenly wearing belts than men are, and we guarantee our customers with a Sleekfit belt that they can wear casual or business attire. How are we connecting with our Sleekfit customers? We will be launching when we have a good stock of Sleekfit belts on Instagram and Facebook. We are also connecting with logo boutiques like Penny Lane, Esther Penn, and Chloe Rose to hold events that is both appealing to men and women.
For our prototype, we first started out by touring John Hart, a local leather goods manufacturer that factors out of San Antonio. In doing so, they showed us how they produce their goods, sew their leather, and distribute throughout the United States. They also gave us leather, which we use today on our prototype. My teammate Danica is wearing our belt today. As you can see, it sleekly fits to her body due to the magnets embedded in it. We put 6 magnets on this belt. It's completely adjustable to her body by having no holes. So our direct competitor right now is MagBelt. It's a utilitarian belt. It's composed of nylon and steel for the belt buckle. It utilizes magnets, but in a very different way. You have to pull the magnets on each side of your belt, so it's different and made for people doing physical labor. So what makes us different? We're a fashionable leather magnetic belt. We're made for people who are business people as well as people who just want to wear a casual belt in their daily lives. We also have a contemporary look, straying away from this industrial look, and we're contemporary and sleek.
So for our total addressable market, we took the population of the United States and added in some assumptions on who'd be buying our belt. And those assumptions were that men ages 20 to 65, as well as women 20 to 45 would be buying. And the other assumption was that we'd have people purchasing with a household income of around $100,000. So with those assumptions in the population, we came out to 7.8 million buyers, and assuming each of them were to make a purchase, that'd be around $393 million. And we did the same assumptions for Texas, which came out to 700,000 buyers, and then $34.2 million. So we're expecting to sell around 410 belts by the end of our first year, which would give us around $20,000 in revenue, and we're expecting around 75% growth rate from year 1, year 2. Our belt retails for $50, and it only costs around $19 to make, so in between there's a 62% gross margin.
So for our MVP plan, we plan to make belts, and in doing so, we want to get in touch with the fashion designer. We want to make 3 belts to start off with: a tan leather like you see today, a brown, and a black belt. We want to make our belt buckle customizable to our brand, so that's why we want to get in touch with a fashion designer. We then want to hold trunk show events at local boutiques. Like we said, Chloe Rose, Esther Penn, and Penny Lane. We want to get the community involved in what we do. We then want to establish an online presence through Instagram influencers and ads on Facebook. So what are we asking for? We're asking for a total of $500. We need to make 10 belts. In doing so, we're thinking that will cost around $190. We know, kind of pricey, but when you're buying locally and you're buying not in bulk, things tend to get expensive. We also want to have a tailor make our belts. We have talked to a local tailor and he priced us at $25 per belt. We want our belts to look professional and sleek. Also, we're going to be advertising through social medias, which we said influencers through Instagram and ads on Facebook, which we capped ourselves off at $50. And we have already purchased our domain name for $10. And here's our timeline. We first want to get in touch with the fashion designer. We want to make our final plans before production. We then want to establish an online presence, which we're looking to do ourselves. We want to start production, and then we want to hold trunk show events at the local boutiques we listed. After that, with the remaining belts for our MVP, we want to place them in these local stores and see how they really do.
Thank you. And at Sleekfit, we know with your investment of $500, Sleekfit will be the only belt you and many other customers will ever need.
Great job. And y'all are welcome to see our prototype and use it and just see how the magnets work.
Good presentation.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Great job.
enjoyed your enthusiasm.
Who made this for you? Or did you guys do this?
We connected with local quilt maker Nicole Gottsacker, and she helped work our minds. And we spent hours. It looks like it took like 20 minutes, right? But it took us hours to figure out. You see, the first three magnets is where the first three studs, is where the magnets are placed, and then we added a fourth stud, and that's just to help because this John Hart leather we used is a little thinner than the actual leather we want to use, so we just wanted to make something a little more presentable for today.
How adjustable is that? Do the studs have to line up with particular magnets, or is there a strip of something magnetic behind it?
So-
Be adjustable to the magnet. Go ahead.
Yes, sorry. So our magnets are placed 1 inch from each other, and they're 3 small circle magnets. And so right now we have 6 placed in the belt that are equally aligned on the frame as well as on the overhang. And so what we have concluded is that we're going to need to add more magnets in our belts, but we love those magnets because they're super strong, but they're not too strong to where someone's like struggling to unbuckle.
Has anyone suggested that you meet or visit with Catherine Dial Easley?
Hold the mic to your,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, there's a woman who's, a parental, contemporary. In fact, she's got a daughter that's approximately y'all's age, I would think. But she did this, not with magnets, but she aggressively addressed the belt and accessories business 35 years or so
wow.
ago and built a very dynamic company. And she's, here in town. And
Okay.
has been, most recently doing some nonprofit.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll have to look into her.
So I think y'all did an excellent job the whole presentation. I would also give you, we've seen a number of products where the students aren't super clear about how their product is different from the competitor's product. And I think y'all did a really good job of describing, here is the competitor's product, here's what it does, here's who it serves, and then here's how ours is different in a different market. I think y'all did an excellent job with that. So well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so my question is just around your margin and your costs. I spend a little bit of time because I think if you look at this belt, I can't hold it, but you're going to have to put more magnets in. That's going to change
Yes,
the
ma'am.
cost, just to truly have it adjustable.
So for our MVP, we actually factored in putting more magnets into the $190 price. We're looking to put 12 magnets in each belt because, like you said, we ran into that problem. It just wasn't enough. So we did factor that price in for our MVP.
So help me understand the buyer for this and how that aligns with your brand. I buy belts for two reasons. One, either they look good, so it's kind of design, or it's comfort. And I'm trying to understand if you're going to sell kind of designer belts, the process I would imagine most people are going to go through is, do I like the design? And that's a fickle industry, and it's obviously very different than kind of the comfort buy, which when I say comfort, I mean I can adjust my belt, loose or tight, but know that at the end of the day, that end is not going to flop out. When I originally was listening to your presentation, it seemed like what you were contemplating was a retrofit of belts, solving the problem of, people maybe that have lost weight. Now that maybe that's a very small target market, but having that adjustability, and not, having to deal with that flyaway is very different than a designer belt. You're kind of, I think, putting the two together here. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We want our customers to feel like they can wear something in the business world, but also even if they're going to a Sunday picnic or something, anything that they will feel comfortable in going to any situation. So we really are emphasizing that we want our customers to feel like they can even customize the belt. So later on down the road, we want our customers to feel like they can customize belt buckles, or even like the studs we have on our prototype today, even to pick out anything like studs or any centerpiece to add character to their belt.
So you're kind of combining the two.
Yeah, and
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm not a man, but obviously. But the studs I think would work for females, but I don't think a man is going to want studs. Maybe, you're going to have to come up with something. Well, maybe Dr. Powell would, but maybe some little, shells or a little, something. But just be careful about that, because what I do think is nice about that, whether you lose weight from a female perspective, some jeans are higher these days, so right, your belt is, but then some are more on the hip, so you need a little bit more room. That I think is really a big, for me,
For women,
that's a
actually
huge thing.
Really good point where you could
High-rise
differentiate,
jeans versus
because women have different belts for different pants.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's where I think
Different pants for different shoes.
well, and different purses for different, between shoes and but I think to me that's where, from a female perspective, I think I like that, because again, high rise and like dress pants usually come higher, but then you've got jeans that may go lower, so you need a little more room, and again, the studs are great, but for men I would think about, maybe you can embed them inside the leather on both sides so you don't see it, or have something, I don't know. Maybe I'll let a man speak.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Your point is well taken. You do have some competition out there, and your distribution is going to be tough. Suggestion would be a thought to start. Texans are basically nationalistic. If you travel abroad, where are you from? I'm not from the States. I'm from Texas. A symbol of a longhorn, or in other words, I would start with something like that, and confine yourself to the Texas market, the colleges there, and the belts that usually emphasize the logo of an institution are knitted, and they're $100 to $200 a belt. And this might be something where a man could wear this, and the magnets would be appropriate with the logo.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Good luck.
Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you, great job.
Good job. Yes, sir. Good luck.